give me some water.
Hare Krishna. A very warm welcome to you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for attending our Janmastami program this evening. Many of us already know Maharaj, but for those of you that do not know Maharaj, it is an honor for me to introduce Maharaj today. He is holding us Partha Sarathi Goswami Maharaj. Maharaj joined ISKCON in 1973 in London. By the mercy of the devotees, Maharaj had been invited to South Africa to help propagate the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Having been inspired by his spiritual master, Maharaj started the legendary tent campaign. Here as well in Tongaat, I'm sure many of you all that are seated here have attended those tent campaigns over the past years. Through the years, the tent campaign has attracted thousands through kirtan, lectures, drama, and the sumptuous prasad that was provided. Maharaj is one of the pioneers in South Africa, and he is also an initiating guru. So can we have a huge round of applause for Maharaj?
Everyone, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And again, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna. Krishna.
Hare Hare. Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
Hare.
So thank you very much for that very warm reception. I want to chant a few prayers to create auspiciousness. It's called Mangala Charanam. And then we're going to read a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which I think all of you know about, Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshmatamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. If you know, you can also join it. Shri Chaitanya Manamishtam Stapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swambadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatakama Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakana Rukanatam Vitam Tam Shajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishavitam Scha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gauranga Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sudadevi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakapatrubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Praskachate Satare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So a little context. I originally came here and I was staying in La Mercy Beach in Tongaat, down the beach. I was staying in the aircraft house. I think you all know that. 1974. And I used to come here to this very temple. It was different in those days, 1974. I don't know, some of you weren't around at that time. And I would, I remember I think it was Hare Krishna Pandit and his brother, Lal Krishna. There were three brothers actually, and they lived right here. And they, the trustees of this temple. And at that time I was learning Hindi because I thought I needed to know Hindi to preach in the Indian community. I soon found out that I didn't know Hindi. I didn't need to know Hindi because they all spoke English, even better than me. So I gave up learning Hindi. But I used to come here, and one of the brothers was, actually it was the son, he was teaching me Hindi. That was 1974. I used to come also as this Dr. N.P. Desai. So I used to go and see him. Metcalf, is it? Metcalf. So I would go and see him, and he would help and give donations. And of course, when our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, when he came into South Africa, this Dr. Desai and his brothers, K.P. Desai, they used to come and see Prabhupada. It was very nice. Then over the years, we preached in Tongaat, and many devotees have come from this town, Tongaat. Many devotees, actually. We even had a center here, a rented house. We even had a restaurant here, below the cinema, in the main street. So I've always thought of Tongaat as being very auspicious, a very auspicious place, because so many nice devotees come from this area. So we'll read a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the standard scripture. And our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, translated it into English. Actually, this Bhagavad Gita now we have in 60 languages throughout the world. 60 different languages. So first we'll offer some prayers to Vyasadeva. So you can repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So there are two verses in chapter 4 which describe why and when the Lord appears in this material world. So let's do the Sanskrit. By chanting this Sanskrit, although you may not know what it means, purification. Sound purifies. Spiritual sound purifies. Even material sound can change your consciousness. For example, if you hear gunfire, then how do you react? It's not nice. But you're hearing sound. You hear police siren, and immediately you don't like it. But you hear young children laughing, and you like it. So sound is very powerful. Even various opera singers, they're able to sing and they can, so intense as they're singing, sometimes glass panes or glass can actually break. So sound is very powerful. If you think about it, this is how you obtain knowledge. When you were young, when you were a baby, you could see, you could smell, you could touch, and obviously you could taste. But the main way that you obtain knowledge about your environment is by hearing. Hearing is the main. When you go to school, it's hearing. It's more important to hear. So this is material sound. Now, spiritual sound is even more powerful, and it's called Shabda. Spiritual sound. The name of God, or the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. Spiritual sound vibrations. And they're very powerful. They can change your consciousness. And when your consciousness is changed, your activities change also. So let's try this all together. Krishna spoke this, so please repeat. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhutanam adhamrasya tadatmanam shujamyaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhutanam adhamrasya tadatmanam shujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Is that Prthu Prabhu? Hallelujah. One of my god brothers has just come. His Grace Prthu Prabhu is originally from Germany and a senior member of our society. So be sure to touch his feet, if you can grab them, before he leaves. Prthu Prabhu has come and staying with us for a few weeks, few months. Altogether, Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, had 4,800 disciples throughout the world. So Prthu Prabhu is a very dignified devotee and very good preacher. So we'll also ask him to say something. Is that all right? Yeah, that means yes. So that's good, because I don't have so much energy and I run out of things to say, to tell you the truth. So the translation, this is Lord Krishna. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. This is a standard verse. So please repeat, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So I just want to read what Srila Prabhupada says. Srila Prabhupada, this is his commentary. The Lord says that he incarnates himself in every millennium. This indicates that he incarnates also in the age of Kali. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by the Sankirtan movement, brackets, congregational chanting of the holy names, end of brackets, and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that this culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world, from town to town, village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly, but not directly, in the confidential parts of the revealed scriptures, such as the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, and the Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants, but delivers them by his causeless mercy. So Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and he appears from time to time. It's described his incarnations are like the waves in the ocean. If you go down now to Tongaat beach and you try to count the waves, innumerable. So there are innumerable incarnations of God. We only know a few of them. The most popular one would be Lord Ramchandra, Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Narayan, Raha, and Krishna himself, according to Shastra, appeared 5,000 years ago. And he appeared in India, North India actually. Then he spoke Bhagavad Gita, which I think most of you have, Bhagavad Gita at home. So Krishna concluded, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is this verse, Savadhamam Pratyajya, everyone, Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja, Aham Tam Savabhavebhyo, Moksheshimascha. Give up all other types of worship. So this actually refers to demigod worship. Just worship me alone. Mam Ekam. Mam means me. Ekam, ek, only me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Masuchaha means do not fear. Do not hesitate. So Krishna spoke this some 5,000 years ago. But still the general population didn't fully understand. They didn't actually practice properly. There was a misunderstanding. This is also due to the fact that we're living now in what is called the age of Kali. And the age of Kali also means the age of confusion, the age of hypocrisy, the age of cheating. We see this. Even in the name of religion, there is some hypocrisy, there is some cheating. So, in order to encourage human beings, Lord Krishna again appeared 500 years ago. And this time he appeared as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya. So Prabhupada says, Lord Chaitanya is the incarnation of Krishna. He's described secretly but not directly. So Lord Chaitanya appeared in Bengal and propagated the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. We accept any name of God as long as it's bona fide, which means we accept the name Allah, Jehovah, numerous other names. There are primary names of God, there are secondary names of God. The name Krishna is described as the primary name of God. So we chant those names of God. And when you chant those names of God, you can associate with the Lord. It's a spiritual sound. Through chanting those names, you can associate with the Lord himself. Hallowed be thy name. The name of God. Although we're using our tongue and lips, still it's spiritual sound. And it purifies us. And this is the purpose of human form of life, to become purified. So Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada said, predicted every town and village. So it also came to Tongaat. So I mentioned how in 1974 I used to come here regularly and also did many tent campaigns in front of 1101 flats Flamingo Heights, all around Tongaat. Even Gandhi's Hill. We did a 10-day program at the temple there and so forth. So Lord Chaitanya's prediction is every town and village. And we're seeing this gradually coming true. So our mission as devotees in this Hare Krishna movement is to practice and to try to spread this chanting. It's very simple. It has nothing to do whether you're Indian-bodied, Hindi or Tamil, or whether you're coloured body, or whether you're white-bodied, or whether you're from Germany. It doesn't matter, male or female. This is the body. But within the body is the soul. And we are the soul within the body, the life force. So the human form of life is meant for realizing this. We may have many other responsibilities. For instance, you're married. You've got the wife, you have the husband, you have the children. Grandchildren come along. There are so many responsibilities we may have to our family members, immediate and other family members. But the primary purpose of our short human form of life is very short. Here today and gone tomorrow. The primary purpose is to practice God consciousness. And the more serious we are in practicing God consciousness, the more advancement we make. And that's what this human life is about. We want to make spiritual advancement. So Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya has made it very easy. All you have to do is chant the names of God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare.
You chant with some devotion. And then you read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and this explains the philosophy. Just remember, religion without philosophy is sentimental. So we have sentimental Hindus, sentimental Christians, sentimental Muslims, somewhat sentimental. And often this sentimental attitude can lead to fanaticism. So we also see fanatical Hindus, fanatical Christians, and fanatical Muslims. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. So there are many atheists, starting with Charles Darwin and others, who postulate that we came from nothing, that something can come from nothing. It's a little illogical, but anyhow, something came from nothing. Evolution, punctuated equilibrium, macro-mutations, coming up with different names all the time. So this is philosophy without religion. So the Vedic scriptures present philosophy and religion together. They present them together. So we encourage you to read these books and to understand. Even in the Bhagavad Gita it says Raja Vidya. What is Vidya? Knowledge. Raja means king. In India we have the Raja Rishis previously, not so much now, but kings. Religious kings. The leader, king, or the president should actually be religious. So Bhagavad Gita is Raja Vidya, Raja Gun Bhagavad Tamidam Taram, the king of knowledge. There are many types of knowledge, and we acknowledge that. You go to university and college, and you can learn different types of material knowledge, technology, computers, etc. But spiritual knowledge, it's more harder to find that. So it's contained within the pages of Bhagavad Gita, and we encourage intelligent people to read a little and to understand the philosophy. The unique feature of the human form of life is we are rational animals. What does that mean, rational? We can question our existence. Socrates said, a life that is not examined is not worth living. One should examine one's life. You were born on the North Coast. You don't have long to live, 60, 70, 80 years. Then what happens when you die? Is it all finished? Is there another life? And knowledge about the soul, or the life-giving force within the body, this is all described in Bhagavad Gita. And then the practical application is to chant the names of God on a regular basis. And this helps purify the heart. Then you may ask, well, what is contaminating my heart? So we will respond by saying lust, anger, greed, illusion, excessive attachment. These things pollute the heart. People become very greedy to the point of becoming violent. So these called anatas, unwanted. So how do you clean them? It's very easy to clean the teeth. You need toothbrush and toothpaste. And we all do that every day, isn't it? You don't skip a day without cleaning your teeth. So how do you clean the heart? It's not quite so simple as putting a toothbrush down the throat, scrubbing the heart. It's not quite like that. So by chanting the names of God, you can purify your heart. You can purify your consciousness. When we use the word heart, it also means consciousness. Consciousness. It's purified. And you think of higher things. You think of higher things. So Krishna consciousness is very practical. And we can see how it is spreading all over the world. In Europe, in Germany, South America, Eastern European countries now, very popular, Bhagavad Gita in Russian language. I've been there a number of times and I've seen. Then of course India itself, and also in Africa we're trying to preach, Nigeria and Nairobi and so forth. So this Krishna consciousness is very nice. We encourage you to try to understand more. And the first practice is to chant the Lord's holy name. We have our beads. Somewhere I have my beads. We carry them around with us and we chant Hare Krishna. And we try to understand the philosophy. So you are the soul within the body. Just like you're sitting in this hall. And after 2 or 3 hours, you'll leave. So you, the soul, are sitting in this body. And after so many years, you'll leave this body. And that's called death. And there's nothing you can do to avoid it. No matter you are very wealthy, rich, powerful, you're going to have to die. So death means the soul leaves this body. Just like you have an old car. When the car gets too old, it's not worth fixing. Would you agree? It's just not worth fixing. You send it to the scrapyard. So when the body breaks down, it can be the heart, it can be the lungs, the pancreas, whatever it is, then the soul leaves this body when the body is uninhabitable, and it takes birth again. Like this hall, if there's a fire and it's collapsing, what do? You run out. You run out of the hall. You can't stay here. So when the body begins to collapse, then dwindle, that word dwindle, then the soul actually leaves the body and it takes birth again. Because the soul is eternal. I think everyone, different religious beliefs, the soul is eternal. This is not the only life we've had. Then you may argue, but I don't remember my last life. It's a good argument. I don't remember my last life. But you also don't remember living in the womb of your mother. How long were you in the womb of your mother? Even in premature birth. 9 months? 10 months? Surely you should remember. But nothing. You don't remember when you were 1 year old, or 2 years old, or 3 years old. So the argument that I can't remember my past life is not substantial. It's not proof. Because many things we forget. But Bhagavad Gita is teaching us the nature of the soul. It's eternal. So we take birth again. And we continue taking birth until we become self-realized. That's the goal of life, to become self-realized. And it's been made very easy by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Simply chant Krishna's holy name. Live a simple life. Avoid sinful activity. Sinful activity, avoid it. And be pious. Be God-conscious. And then you get good result. So our spiritual master, Prabhupada, he came here 1975. He didn't come to Tongaat. The Phoenix wasn't in existence at that time. It was all sugarcane. But he came to Durban City Hall and Lakshmi Narayan Hall. And he spent 3 weeks basically here preaching. And Srila Prabhupada was very impressed and encouraged us to continue preaching. And since then we've established various temples in South Africa. Actually we have about 18 centers. And of course we're distributing books or published books in the local languages. There's many African languages. So we're printing Bhagavad Gita in these languages so people can understand. So please become serious about spiritual life. Become serious. Utsrangishtaya. Become enthusiastic. Materialists are very enthusiastic. But they're enthusiastic to make money. Paisa bag, Tamasa bag. They want the money. They want the fame. Intoxication, gambling. After all, it is Saturday night. There will be more people at Suncoast than sitting in front of me. And no doubt there will be elderly Indian ladies wearing their saris on the machine. Numerous Indian ladies. So we have to be enthusiastic about God, not about gambling or doping. We've got to go for something a little higher. And members of the Indian community, they're blessed because they already know something about the Ramayana. Like when you were young, you heard something about the Mahabharata. You heard about Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma and Ganesh. These, of course, are respectable, worshipable demigods. So please use your life effectively and don't let it pass by. Evam Gariyeshu Shaktanam. Insurmountable, imperceptible time overcomes everyone. First of all, it's imperceptible. Time just goes so quickly. Like I said, I came in 1974. That's almost 50 years ago. But it feels like it was last month. Where's those last 50 years gone? And insurmountable. You can't overcome the time factor. It's not possible. It's the forceful representation of God, the time factor. So we take shelter of the holy name of the Lord, and we can have some higher realization coupled with understanding a little bit of this philosophy and understand the goal of life is to become God conscious. And this gives us some purpose in life. Otherwise, honestly speaking, what is the purpose in my life? I'm working hard, paying the rent, putting my children through school, university. What is the real purpose? All of these activities come to naught, like a lot of zeros, but you put the one in front of the noughts, becomes a very significant number. So that one is God consciousness. So please take this seriously. So I want to ask my esteemed senior God brother, His Grace, Prthu, who's blessed us by coming to this dark continent, to speak a few words of his choice. So maybe you can hand him the microphone. In Germany, we're preaching very effectively. Prabhupada also went there. And this is where Prthu actually came from. And Prthu also has reputation of knowing very well the Bible. Yes. But I'm not sure what he will speak. The disciples of Srila Prabhupada, like Prabhu, like Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, are a dying species. So we should try to hear while we can, before it's too late.
I sing as you choose.
I didn't expect to be here. Kind of a cosmic joke. I thought it would be somewhere else. But since I'm here, and since my godbrother asked me to speak, say something, and I thought before we do so, I would like to chant the Hare Krishna mantra with you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
No, you.
So, this chanting is very powerful. And then I came to Mombasa in 1978. I think it was under dry theatre at that time. My son was sick, he had pneumonia, and we were living in Ireland, which is a very damp country, and so he recommended to heal him to go to Mombasa because it's very dry climate there, very dry and hot. And so I came to the temple there, and there was one Indian gentleman. He would come with his wife in the evening. And he was a businessman, he was, I think, Gujarati, and so he talked to his friends in the back, outside the temple, mostly about money. Understand? She was inside, she was very attentive. And so this went on for some time, and I understood he was also there, but he was not so pious. So then he got, one day, I heard him walking around the temple, and he sang, Hey Narayan, Hey Narayan. And he kept doing this for weeks. Then one day he came in the morning, he chanted, Hey Narayan, Hey Narayan, Hey Narayan. Then to my surprise, after another, he went in the morning, he came saying Hey Narayan, then he came in the noon saying Hey Narayan in the evening. And this went on for a good while. I was there for a couple of months. I didn't hear of him anymore. And then the doctor, Indian doctor, he said, you have to come. This man is Hey said he wants to see you. So we went there. It was a true story. Krishna is my witness. So when I came, the doctor said, you come too late. I said, why? He said, well, he's gone. He said, what does it mean gone? He said, is he dead? No. He said, he's brain dead. He said, how do you know that? He said, you see, there's a screen, a television screen right there. See, his brain dead is completely flat. He said, I said, so let's have a kirtan. He can't complain. He said, well, that's true. He can't complain. So you can have a kirtan. So we had a kirtan. I was there with my wife, my little boy, and 2 boys from the temple. And so after some time, there was some glimmering on the screen. It became bigger and bigger. And the nun, it was a Christian hospital, I think, or something. The nun came, how do you say, the caretaker came. She was supervising something like 7 or 8 screens of people. She came over and said, oh, what's going on here? She called the doctor. The doctor said, my God, what happened? And then this man stood up like this and said, now it is Hare Krishna all the way. He felt like it was Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? At the end of his life, after everything was said and done, and he started chanting the holy name of Narayan, and then when he died, he said, now it's Hey Narayan all the way, now it's Hare Krishna all the way. And he had a wonderful future and probably back to Godhead. So you see how just a little thing like that. I'll give you another story. I heard from one Russian devotee. I go to Russia normally in summer. I'm in Russia, but now that's why I'm in Africa, because I go to Russia, Vrindavan, I'm bearable, the heat. I stayed one summer in Vrindavan. I never again. I bought a freezer from Goodrich, and I stick my head into the freezer every time to freeze my brain, just to prevent me from jumping from the roof. It was just unbearable. And so, in any case, a boy from Russia told me, we have one devotee in our temple. He said he was an atheist. He went to Lomonosov University, big university in Moscow. And he was an atheist, and he saw the devotees dancing on the street, all boys, And he said, there they are, the dancing penguins. He used to call the devotees dancing penguins. With his friends, they were laughing about the devotees, and the devotees saw that they were laughing, they were waved, and so he went back. And this went on for some time. Every time he saw the devotees, he was ridiculing the devotees, and his friends laughed with him together about these dancing penguins. And the dancing penguins went back, and so they developed some sort of a rasa. This went on for a good while. Then one day, he drove in snow. There was snow coming into his windscreen over the ring road in Moscow. And all of a sudden, there was a truck across the road, and he drove right into this truck. And his light went out, he said. Darkness, all of a sudden. Brilliant light. And he looked up, there were 3 guys standing there, like this, his claws, horns, and tusk. They said, Nikolai Ivanovich, we have been waiting for you. And he ran, and they took a lasso behind him and dragged him out of the body. Within seconds, he was in a big palace. There was a man sitting on the high throne. He said, Nikolai Ivanovich, I've been waiting for you. What have you done? So the secretary said, he said, well, very bad life. He drank vodka, he was hunting women, and he stole, and he was lying. Horrible. Anything good? The man on the throne said, yes. He said, one thing. Whenever he saw the devotees of our Lord Sri Krishna, the man on the throne went like this. 500 people in the audience went like this. What did he do? He said he was waving the devotees. Waving the devotees. How many times? 27 times. Excellent. What would you do if I gave another chance? He said, sorry, I become a Hare Krishna. I said, how do you go? You go right back. He was like some, he was listening for us thrown back into his body. And he opened his eyes, there were two doctors pressing his breast. He's coming, we get him. And he came back to life. And he went to the temple, and what was that? They said, this man you saw, you see only one time in your life, and then it's too late. Yamaraj. Then it's too late. You're very fortunate. And he became a devotee and is in Moscow since distributing books. He became a Hare Krishna devotee. You see how such a little thing that's like vain in the devotees. Like Krishna says, in this endeavor there's no loss. There's no loss. Even a little thing. I remember I was distributing one time books in Amsterdam. And there was a boy there. He said, I shouldn't read these books. I'm Jewish. I said, I know that. He said, how do you know? I said, I'm German. I can smell it. So he said, what am I supposed to do with these books? He said, you should read this. Bhagavad Gita. It's good for you. He said, what's good for me? Show me something. Open the page. There was this verse, in this endeavor there's no loss. He said, no loss. I come from a business family. In business there's always something. No loss. I buy this book. And he became a devotee. Because in this endeavor there is no loss. And even a little promise, like Krishna says, can save you from the greatest type of fear. There's no loss. Krishna saved you, So I have a very good story. I told this story hundreds of times, and the devotees want to hear it again and again. It has nothing to me, really. I'm just one of the actors in this play of Krishna. There was a devotee who joined us in Amsterdam. It's a very strong story. You won't forget it so easily. And he left us. He was a Protestant. His name was James. I remember. Next thing, the priest called me, the Catholic priest, from Dublin. He was a public relations priest who always gave us a bad name in the media. So he called Father Martin Tierney, I remember. He said, you have to come. James is here with his uncle. The uncle wants to see you. I said, I'm not going to see the uncle. He said, you can't board it. He said, he's a very powerful man. So as soon as the uncle saw me, you tell James to never, ever, 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 ever come back to the temple. He told me. I said, James, how old are you? He said, 26. He said, come on, he's on the side. 26, he has to make up his own mind. Neither I should make up his mind, nor you should make up his mind. Even God doesn't interfere in the freedom of an adult to go his own way. No, you have some power, man. You tell him. You stick this finger in my face, practically speaking. I grabbed the finger and said, man, are you threatening me? He said, yes, I'm threatening you. Now go out is free. And you say it. 1, 2, 3, he screamed, say it. And I said, Krishna made me say, oh, my dead body. Oh, your dead body. You said it. You passed your own sentence. That will happen. He ran out. The priest said, my God, you don't know who that was. I had no idea. He said, he's the head of the UDA, he's a Protestant terrorist underground army. He said, this man has 60,000 men and others, armed to the teeth with bombs, with machine guns, with rifles. I mean, you're done. Run for your life. We would never do that. We are Catholic, would never do that because next morning you have a bread knife in your back. He said, run. Don't go to the temple. He said, don't go to the temple. Don't even think of going to America, don't go to Germany, immediately go to the airport, fly out to Assam, fly to Uganda. He said, there's the Ida Armin is there. You can go to Uganda. He said, he will give you protection if you pray for him. He said, and so I said, no, I don't want him there. This is my service, I'm running the samples in 10 years, I'm not going to give him my service. He said, he's going to kill you. And I said to him, Father, it's not in his power. Krishna gave me this to say. It's not in his power, it's up to God. If my time is up tomorrow morning, I will certainly die. Either he will kill me, or I have a car accident, or I fall from a chair. And if my time is not up, there's nothing he can do about it. The priest said, how can you have so much faith in God? He said, Father, yes, I want. No doubt. Now listen to this. I went to the temple. True story. God hears me. I'm a witness. The priest called out 1 hour. He said, I got priest. Did he give you? He said, no. The man went to his car, he turned the key, and the bomb took him away. You see that if you depend on Krishna, Krishna will protect you. That's a fact. If Krishna wants to kill you, what is it? Mara Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Mara, I think Krishna wants to protect you, no one can kill you. If Krishna wants to kill you, no one can. That's the truth. I experienced this in my own body. It's not, you see, you have to see it from a different point of view. It's not even my story. His time was up. And Krishna just used me as an instrument. I was the last straw that broke the camel's back, as people say. This time was up. And so Krishna arranged this whole story that I could be part of it. And I'm happy to be part of it because now I can understand that God is great. And if you need protection, He will give it to you. The Prabhupada in Zion, chant Hare Krishna is the most important activity in the universe, Prabhupada said. And one time Prabhupada said, 99% of our spiritual problems depends on chanting Hare Krishna, he said. There was this famous musician, Alice Coltrane, and Prabhupada, he had so many problems. He met Prabhupada in Vrindavan. This problem, that Prabhupada said, you just chant. He said, then everything, just chant more, he said, then everything will be revealed to you. And then you know how to do everything. You then know how to do something substantial for the world. If you chant, it will come to you. So the chanting is very important. One time, Haida Thakur was asked about the chanting. He said, in the ultimate consideration, there are only two truths. Namely, one is the soul, the jiva, and the other one is the holy name, meaning God. That's in the ultimate consideration, the only truth. The rest is all material work, coming, going, changing, etc. Ultimately not important. Not important. My personal relationship with Krishna is the most important thing. You have to cultivate that. And everything will flow from there. Like Krishna says, just if you fix your mind from me, Machita, you fix your mind from me. And chanting is the most intensive way to do that. Machita, Sarva Durgani, all difficulties that come from Mother Durga, all difficulties of material life, Madhasam, by my mercy, that is will be destroyed. By Krishna's mercy, all our difficulties will be destroyed. We don't have to destroy our difficulties. We just have to fix our mind on Krishna. Arjuna fixed his mind on Krishna, and therefore was able to fight millions of people. So we don't have to solve our own problems. Prabhupada said that. We just have to turn to Krishna and ask him, please help me. How can I save myself in this situation, in that situation? And we installed the babies of Lord Nityananda. And Vrindavan, we said, go to Nityananda. He said, all your problems are solved. Turn to Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, and he will help you. That's my experience also in my personal life. So let us chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai, Sarathi Prabhu ki jai.
Yes, 10 out of 10.
Thank you very much. There's one. We got a gift to give away. So if you want to ask a question, there's a gift to give away. If you want to ask a question,
Is there questions?
there's 2 questions.
Thank you for the beautiful stories. I'm sure we all will go home and pass these stories along to everybody else. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, Prabhu, that needs to be answered? No.
want to answer a question? I don't have my glasses on.
I don't have my glasses on either. Can you give me, wait a minute, you have my glasses, with a black frame. It's in my black bag.
I can read it if you like. I've got my glasses. Microphone. Can you tell us about a favorite pastime of Lord Krishna? Your favorite pastime about Krishna, please. Thank you.
Let me switch this question a little bit. Please. Let me talk about my favorite pastime, Srila Prabhupada. I was there. And it is a beautiful pastime. I'll give you a couple. One time, Prabhupada came to Germany, and I was managing the event, and I had a board with all the names of the devotees, about 220 devotees on this board. And I was moving people around from one place to another on this board. And all of a sudden I realized Prabhupada was behind me. He said, "What's that?" He said, "Srila Prabhupada, this is my managerial board." He said, "Then?" I said, "I can take a devotee from here to there, from the kitchen into the cleaning, from the cleaning into Harinam, etc." He said, "How does that work?" I said, "It's magnetic." I said, "Oh, magnetic management." He said, "Let me try that." And so he took one name from here to there, one girl from here to there, and then he turned to me and said, "That will fail, 100%. He said, "There's no love and trust among the devotees." That's the most important thing, love and trust. Otherwise the rest is just management, just institutionalism. And ultimately it doesn't keep people in Krishna consciousness, it doesn't feed people, nourish people in Krishna consciousness. Everything comes down to love and trust. Very important thing to learn. Another time, this is almost my most favorite pastime is Prabhupada. One time he came to a complete atheist university in Stockholm. And everybody was left. Communists, Naxalites, Marxists, Leninists, Stalinists, followers of Bakunin, followers of Trotsky. I mean, everybody was there, and his mothers, practically speaking, in the field of radical left philosophers. But the one thing they all share is, they don't agree with each other, but one thing they share, classless society. There are no classes. So Prabhupada, he could smell it. Nobody told him. He said, "So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to tell you, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvana Mayashishtam Bhutanamat Nagashaha." There are 4 classes of men. First class men, Brahmin, second class men, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. He went on and on talking about the 4 classes. You can change that. It's in every society. Somebody stood up finally, the people were cooking. This was just so offensive to their ears to hear that. And somebody said, "Of course, Swami, you think you're first class, you're sitting on a high throne, covered with flowers, all your followers bowing down in front of you. Are you first class?" I was shocked. "Are you first class?" the man screamed. And I was about to go and rip his heart out. I was so angry. And he said that. And the Prabhu said, No. I said, "I'm not first class." He said, "Actually, I'm 5th class." There's silence in the room. There's silence. And then Prabhupada became emotional. I could see it because I was sitting there. He said, "Because I'm the servant of everyone." And 2 big tears came behind his spectacles down, running on the seas. It was so awesome. I understood, yes, he was really the servant of the whole world. He was so misunderstood. He had no ego. He was not the master, but he was the servant of everyone. in spite of his exalted status of being such an exalted soul. These are the two things I would like to say.
One more question. What is more important, serving our family or serving the Lord? Especially when all the members of family are not devotees.
You ask me. You see, ideally, we should see our family as part of Krishna's family. Like Bhakti Thakur sings, Manasati Yogi, my house, my family, whatever I have, my body. I try to engage in your service. I mean, we should try to raise our children in that sense. If our home, if you're not devotees, then our home is a prison. That's a fact. Our senses are just our thieves. They take our time away. Our mind and our senses take our time away. When you want to chant, and the mind is coming and takes your time away. So the mind and the senses are our thieves. If they're guided by bad intelligence, so intelligence is focused in Krishna, the mind becomes servants. And the attachment to the children becomes just foot shepherds, like you have a big ball around your foot, if you're not devotees. But if we are devotees, then the whole equation changes. The home becomes a temple and the children becomes a Partha forum. You raise children in Krishna consciousness, that makes sense. And then the mind and the senses become subordinate, they become engaged in Krishna's service. And the Prabhupada says the gopis were engaged in the most ordinary activities like everybody else. They were milking cows and making milk and cooking milk and boiling milk and making cheese and butter, etc. like everybody else. But their mind was directed towards Krishna. So we can do the most ordinary activities while thinking about Krishna. That's why Krishna says, always think of me, become my devotee. Whatever we do, whatever we do, you can do for Krishna. We can study for Krishna. Say somebody is a young student, my advice to young students. I preached to a lot of students. I said, this study is important. This is your service to God. Become very good in your study. Get a good position, ultimately a good job. Raise a family nicely. And train your children in God consciousness. Turn your house into a temple. That's the idea, So whatever you do for Krishna. You can do this all the time. I explained to this one boy, I'm telling you this right now, you can pick a flower. Anytime you see a flower, pick up this flower and offer it to Krishna. This Krishna said, Partha, you give me flower. You can dedicate your whole service, but it may look like a material activity, like raising a family. But you can contemplate that this is what I'm doing for God. I'm trying to raise a nice family in Krishna consciousness. People may not respond to that, but that's not your problem, that's their problem. You try your best, then Krishna will do the rest. That's a good formula in our life. We do our best, whatever it may be, in chanting, in hearing, in serving our family members, we do our best, then Krishna will do the rest. So the idea to depend on Krishna is very nice, but we have to do something about that. We have to be practical. Arjuna, he couldn't just sit down. He fought for Krishna. Fighting for Krishna, there's nothing spiritual about fighting, but because he was fighting for Krishna, raising a family for Krishna, studying for Krishna, feeding people. There are unlimited activities what we can dedicate for Krishna in our mind. And I think in Christian theology, Saint Benedict said, the work should be prayer, and the prayer should be our work. Like chanting is work, should be our work. So in this way, we can always think of Krishna like Krishna said, always think of me, become my devotee, if you always think of me, children will come to me. That doesn't depend on the rest of the people, even on family members. That's what I would say that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can we ask one question so we can get this away?
one last gift that we'd like to share. Miraj will ask a question, and one lucky person here will have Miraj hand this gift to them. Any questions?
Oh, me. What do I do?
If you can ask any question, one question to the audience, and the person that answers it correctly can be handed that gift that Mahamasa was holding.
Microphone. All right. What is the average rainfall in the Amazon desert in the Amazon in 1972? Please put your hands in the air. What is
that gift tonight?
How much salt is in every cubic mile of seawater? Hopeless. How many verses in the Bhagavad Gita?
Miss Sanapanji? Yes, you answer?
701.
Onto the stage, right?
I thought it was 700. Yes,
That's all in Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, 700. That was close enough.
I know.
So thank you all very much, and also the officials of this wonderful hall for allowing us to stage this program and this also surprise visit of my senior godbrother, His Grace Prabhu. And we encourage you, Phoenix Temple, New Jagannath Puri, try to visit Janmastami, Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and various festivals.
We're now going to have a play. We had some very enthusiastic and willing devotees that came forward to have a little sketch that we've organized. They've been working tirelessly, lots of rehearsals, and they're very eagerly waiting backstage to perform for you. So in a few minutes we will have them on stage. We're just setting up with the props. You know, when we had the previous dance item, we had those two little